practice and getting going with 4 spring practices so far. So I want to introduce you to Drew. Wish we could do this in person, but hopefully we'll get to do that soon, Drew. So we'll take some questions in the chat for a few minutes, and we'll kind of go from there. Well, we'll start with Matt Wenzel with MLF.
Oops, sorry, hit the button too many times. Hey, Drew, good to see you. I was wondering if you can kind of walk us through the process of making the decision to enter the portal and taking advantage of the extra year and ending up at Michigan State.
Yeah, a big reason that I thought, joining Michigan State was just how the coaching staff was. They were very honest with me. And then the biggest reason was they would set me apart from other defensive ends and, in this next draft class where that, they're really giving me an opportunity to come in here, play, work under a lot of guys that have a lot of NFL pedigree, as well as, they really made my family feel comfortable. They really included my family a lot in the recruiting process. It was a huge decision on me leaving Duke just because I had a lot established there. But I took that leap of faith, knowing that, Michigan State would set me apart for the next level and my goals when it came to getting my body in the right place, mentally, and then also, physically where I'll be able to excel at any point in time.
And I guess who was kind of the main coaches that you talked to or personnel at Michigan State? And do you have any ties in the roster? I think I saw Connor Hayward mention you guys played youth football together or something. But I mean, did you have any connections beyond that? And kind of who were your key contacts?
Yeah, it was when I first started getting recruited again by Michigan State. I had actually had a visit up here when I was in high school. So obviously I knew, coming in what the landscape looked like, how the locker room was set up. That was huge, being already familiar with this program. Coach Hayes was a huge part in my recruitment. I really spoke with everybody for the most part. I know Connor, of course, played Little League ball together, grew up together. I've known him for a very long time now. And then also, knowing Coach Burton, from the staff in the past was also very important. Just having that familiar face and knowing that I'd be okay coming up here.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Lindsey Huddleston.
Hey, Drew, welcome. And just trying to get to know you. If your best friend was here, what would they say about you? How would they describe you to us to let us know the kind of guy you are?
If my best friend was here, I'm a really fun going guy, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. I'm going to do everything in my power to have this team be successful. A trustworthy guy, somebody that's going to have your back, no matter what. Every day I'm going to come in and push you to be your best, because if I'm not pushing you to be your best, I'm not doing my job. My best friend will always know that, I'm always going to have his back, and I'm going to do everything in my power to put us in the best position to be successful.
Really good. As a quick follow-up too, as you join a new team, what are you learning now as some ways to kind of best introduce yourself to the team, best connect with the team, that people could get to know you and know what kind of guy you are and know what kind of teammate you'll be?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I've noticed thus far is showing the guys, who I am, putting in the work, because my actions, I can't just come in and just start speaking everything into existence. I have to show them and lead that way. And then once I get that foot in the door with that leadership of, oh, wow, this guy's actually, really serious about this and it's important to him, then I start being more of a vocal leader. But it starts off with laying that foundation of I'm coming in to work.
Got it. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Drew, thanks for taking the time here. Good to sort of meet you like this. I'm just curious, first, say that somebody's never seen you play before and they're a Michigan State fan, how would you describe what you bring, and how do you see yourself fitting into this defense, and how were you sort of pitched on coming here, and say, how are the coaches saying we could use you? Just how do you see yourself fitting into all this, and what type of player are you?
Yeah. When I was making the decision to come here, the biggest part was they needed a little bit more physicality, and that's what they're going to get from a guy like me. Not only just a guy that can stop the run and bloody your nose in the run, but also somebody that's going to attack you off the edge. Speed, strength, tenacity, all those different things. I'm the complete package. I'm not just going to speed rush, but I'm also going to bull you. I'm going to do a lot of different things to keep you off balance, to confuse the guy. And then, when that opportunity presents itself, I'm going to take it.
Okay. And I want to ask you something sort of along the lines that Lindsay was just talking to you about. I mean, when you're an older guy and you come here, like you mentioned at the top, with goals to get to the next level, but you come to a place where the coaches are still very new and just in their second year, and Coach Tucker's talked a lot about still setting the culture here in this spring, even though last year was very weird. What's that like as a guy in your position, and that balance of like, I am kind of here for my goals, but while I'm here, I kind of want to do my part to help this thing get on track. Am I making any sense there? I mean, what's
Yeah,
that sort of
sure.
process
Yeah.
and dynamic like for you?
Yeah, the biggest thing, me coming in here is obviously the culture is still setting in, but it's also, helping out and being a leader. If the team's not successful, I'm not successful. Personal accolades and goals aside, I want to win football games, and that's our goal here is to win football games, make it to Big Ten championships, make it to the college football playoff. That's going to be the goal. And personal accolades isn't going to mean anything if the team's not winning. So my goal is to put the team in the best position to win, and that's making everybody better around me.
And just last thing, if I could, just how's this winter for you after growing up in Georgia and going to college in North Carolina? What was January through February like?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was brutal at first, just because I've never seen this much snow before, and my parents were telling me, because they're from St. Louis, they're like, "Son, you're gonna have to get some big boots. You're gonna have to wear a lot of layers, things like that." I got used to it. I found myself when it hit 50s, saying it was warm outside. So it was bad at first, but it got better.
This was an easy one, man. You got lucky.
Yeah.
Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next question will go to Colton Pouncey with The Athletic.
Yeah, I was gonna say the good news is it's getting warmer outside, so you're looking good now. But so I guess my question is, like, what was life like in the portal? Because in a lot of cases, it's a tough decision to leave a school that you've made friends at and develop relationships. So I guess I'm sure you had a lot of programs reach out to you when you first put your name in. So what was that process like, and how do you feel like you're fitting in here at Michigan State?
Yeah, I thought, making that decision of putting my name into the portal, it was very nerve-wracking, just because you didn't really know what to expect, especially as a guy, my age that has aspirations of making it to the next level. But I think my film spoke for itself. I had a lot of plays down. I had a lot of really good plays that I made. I had a lot of experience playing, so it was actually relatively easy for me personally, just because a lot of teams saw that value in who I was. I don't know what my snap count was, but I know it was very high. I know my stats were very, very good. So a lot of teams did reach out to me. So that kind of made it a little bit easier on my process for the portal. It's probably a little bit different from other guys, just because they didn't have the film that I had, and the reps and even the experience of playing.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go back to Matt Wenzel with M Live.
Hey, Drew, kind of wondering what your impression from afar, being Power 5 conference player, but what your impression of the Big Ten has been, and having been a guy, I think you played at Northwestern a couple of years back, 3 years back or so.
Yeah.
And that is where you guys are scheduled to start the year this season. So just kind of your impression overall of the Big Ten and all that.
Yeah, football is football to me. But when looking at the Big Ten, I definitely do see it's a more physical level of play. You really have to lock in on your keys a lot of times. But in the end, football is football. It's all going to be very fast, very physical. Practices right now, even in the Big Ten, are very physical, very hard. So, not too much of a difference, but there are a couple different variation of plays that I haven't seen before. So that's just the only difference between ACC and Big Ten, or whatever you may want to make that comparison from.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Our last question, we'll go back to Stephen Brooks with 24/7 Sports.
Thanks, man. Drew, I just got two sort of small things for you. When you were in the portal, did you talk to Connor at all? Because he's a guy who had gone through that and obviously returned to Michigan State. Just did you talk to him at all during that time for any kind of advice or anything at all about that?
Yeah, me and Connor spoke briefly about what he had done, but also we thought it would be very exciting to come back together and be teammates once again. So right when I actually got in the portal, he hit me up and was like, "Hey, man, you may want to look at us here," and that was very important just because he took value in who I was, and then also having that connection between when we played together and now the opportunity of playing together once again. So that was the biggest thing, was just being able to rekindle what we had in the past and play together once again.
I also want to ask you about Kenneth Walker. Obviously, you both come from the ACC. Have you ever tackled him in a game before? Did you have any impressions of him at Wake Forest, and now to be teammates? What's that like?
Yeah, Kenny is a great player, very fast, very physical. He'll beat you a lot of different ways. I actually did play against him. I don't remember if I tackled him or not, just because they had another back at the time as well. But that offense that he was playing in, he was definitely able to excel there. And just looking at the player that he is right now, he has a lot of tools to be very successful.
Got it. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, Drew, that looks like all the questions we have. So really appreciate your time and welcome to Michigan State, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.